Stoic. Someone who doesn't give a shit about the stupid things in this world that most people care so much about. Antifragile. The term was coined by Nassim Nicholaus Taleb. It's a step beyond resilience and robustness because the resilient just resists the shocks and stays the same. The anti-fragile gets better and actually benefits from chaos. So it is with Stoicism. Stoicism is a school of Hellenistic philosophy founded in Athens by Zeno in the early 3rd century BC. It's one of the best mental operating systems to have because of its anti-fragility. The Stoics believe destructive emotions to be the result of false judgment. For a good life, you have to understand the natural order of things because everything is rooted in it. Stoicism became more dominant later in Rome than it was in Greece. Writers like Seneca and Epictetus considered the sage, the one who knows virtue and acts according it, immune to misfortune because virtue is sufficient for happiness. Marcus Aurelius is also one of the most important Stoic philosophers. Basically, Stoicism helps you to understand that shit happens and there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to miss buses, lose your wallet, face challenges, have to do hard work in order to succeed, and get your heart broken many times. It's a way to preemptively come to terms with adversity and actually benefit from it. The Urban Dictionary describes the word Stoic as such. Stoic. Someone who doesn't give a shit about the stupid things in this world that most people care so much about. Stoics do have emotions, but only for the things in this world that really matter. They are the most real people alive. In Marcus Aurelius' meditation, there's a phrase that goes as such: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This quote is also what Ryan Holiday's book, The Obstacle is the Way, is based upon. Have you ever had a negative experience which later turned out a lot better than you expected? During the actual event we're cursing and struggling, but in retrospect we realized that the challenge actually made us a better person than before, and we gained a lot of wisdom from it. A person stranded on an island in the middle of the ocean will have to fight for their survival. Talk about another best-selling book or a blockbuster movie idea. If they survive, that is.
Come on! Look what I have created! I have made fire! I have made fire!
I like to say that adversity is to be welcomed and yearned for. It's not the challenge itself per se that makes us better, but the overcoming aspect of it that does so. In difficult situations and novel circumstances, we're forced to adapt. As a result, we bulletproof ourselves to whatever may happen to us in the future. I've used Stoic techniques to come to terms with the fact that shit will inevitably hit the fan sooner or later. Having preemptively conditioned myself, I'm able to suck it up, deal with it, and still perform when it does so. Like the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And tough times don't last, but tough people do. If you constantly keep the worst case scenario in the back of your head, the Stoics say we become immune to the dangers of the world and too much positive thinking. If you only expect and experience the good, then you'll lead yourself to despair because anything less than ideal will be unbearable. That's why someone who has never had to work hard a day in their life will be remorseful after they've lost the riches. Only by envisioning and experiencing the bad can we truly appreciate the good. Marcus Aurelius started each day by telling himself, I shall meet with meddling, ungrateful, violent, treacherous, envious, and unsociable people. That's why Stoicism is the best mental operating system. You're anti-fragile and bulletproof to external events. Anything that happens to you, you'll gain from it. What makes Stoicism work is also the concept of Memento Mori, remembrance of death. It's a mental exercise that's supposed to remind the person that everything in this world, the body, career, reputation, people, should not be the primary focus on our minds, nor the source of our happiness, because they can all be swept away at an instant. Instead, what Socrates also declared, the purpose of philosophy was to teach humans to free their soul from their body and passions. "There is nothing I cannot handle," said Socrates, and he was the wisest of them all indeed. One way to do it was to remind yourself that the organic body is just a vehicle and has its expiration date. Reminding ourselves that one day we're going to die is enlightening and will definitely benefit our happiness. It prevents us from getting distracted by the random things that don't serve our greater purpose. We start valuing our time more, and you become more focused with what you do, because you don't have time to procrastinate, you don't have time to have self-doubt, you don't have time for afflictive habits and negative people. Stoicism isn't dark or dreadful, it's actually the opposite. If you're already expecting your experience to be less than ideal, then everything above it is already a huge increase. You're being more grateful for what you have and understand how fortunate you really are. Seneca would habitually condition himself with poverty. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself all the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" He was the richest banker in Rome, but still habitually conditioned himself to be like a slave. He achieved two things. One, the difficult experience was constantly etched in the back of his mind, which made him not take his fortune for granted. And two, he was capable of surviving adverse conditions, which bulletproofed himself to be able to handle anything. His happiness actually improved because his state of mind was satisfied with virtue, not his material possessions. The takeaway. We should first understand that change is inevitable. Negative events and people are going to happen as a part of the conduct of the cosmos. The weather forecast for tomorrow. Cloudy with a chance of adversity. And shit will hit the fan. Secondly, we should yearn for adversity because it conditions us to become better. What stands in the way becomes the way. If we get used to difficulties, then we improve our ability to deal with them. Overcoming resistance enhances our strength and muscles. Climbing over obstacles augments our mind and mental toughness. Thirdly, don't take things for granted. Condition yourself to be happy with less, not more. Too high demands will make it too difficult for you to maintain your happiness. If you're used to less ideal conditions, then anything beyond that is already a huge increase. On the flip side, if you're constantly having it easy and are well off, then you'll fall face down to the ground when something unpredictable happens. This is what I'm trying to prevent you from doing as well. My own personal philosophy embodies antifragility and stoicism, and I wanted to share it with you as well. So make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. How are you mentally prepared for the negative events of life that are going to happen? If you want to be notified when a black swan type of event happens, then click the notification bell because it will directly notify you whenever I publish a new video. Thanks for watching. My name is Seem. Stay stoic, stay happy, stay empowered.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.